Was good, chat. We finally ended the fucking losing streak. We caught these nasty longs today during the AM session. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and hop straight into the market recap. So let me go ahead and just switch over to the NQ. I mean, before I do that, actually, let me go ahead and show you guys the executions. This is the executions. We took on MNQ. We made 500 ball hairs today. Since I lost two full size trades in a row the last 2 days, I lowered the risk today. Went back to risking 250, so that way I don't blow the damn account already. But yeah, we ended up coming back. We're now only $500 in drawdown on the new eval, so that's always good. So without any further ado, let's just go. Okay, don't mind that. Don't mind that. I was trolling on TikTok with that fucking fib. But okay, without any further ado, let's go ahead and hop straight into the recap chat. So let's see, where's market open at? All right, here we go. Here's market open. All right, so coming into the day, let me take off the end dog indicator as well, real quick. Take it off on here. All right, cool. All right, so coming into the day, I was initially bearish. Yes, you heard that correct. So I was initially bearish. I think it's gonna reset my chart. Yeah, I knew it was gonna reset my chart. But the reason I was bearish was because we had ended up reclaiming this daily fair value gap. We went there, and it seemed like we wanted to start, moving and expanding lower. So in order to confirm that, give me 1 second. Let me reset the chart back to market open, so you guys know exactly what the chart looked like. So coming onto the 4 hour here. Let me just make this bigger. So coming onto the 4 hour, this is what I had seen. So we come up, we sweep out this buy side, we close back within the range, we're expecting this big 4 hour gap, right? We then displace lower, change in the state of delivery right here, the CISD right here, change in the state, and we have a balanced price range with a new 4 hour gap that was created. So yesterday we actually ended up coming into that gap, respected it, swept out the 4 hour high SMT, and then we ended up displacing lower, breaking structure here again. Right here we ended up breaking structure again, and we ended up making a new bearish 4 hour gap as well. So from here I was like, okay, you know what, if we're gonna truthfully go down, we should see movement here from this gap. But as you can see here on Monday, we actually ended up creating this 4 hour bullish gap as well, which is also a balanced price range. So from here, it was a bit conflicting in terms of bias, in terms of what I wanted to see. So, it was basically just all about patience, what gets respected, what does not get respected. So, if this were to hold, I'd be looking for the shorts to the downside. If this doesn't hold, this does, I'll be looking for the long. So, I was basically just waiting to see what the market wanted to go ahead and do. Scaling onto the 1 hour. This is where I noticed that, wait, what the fuck? It reset back. Hold on 1 second, chat. Reset this back to market open, go back to the hourly. Okay, so going on to the hourly. So this is where I kind of realized that we were in a bit of consolidation and that the, time frame was not lining up with the 4 hour. And so pretty much what I mean by that is, let me go ahead and just mark out, let me take out these lows from the chart so it's not so confusing. And pretty much what I mean by that is, we have an Asia accumulation and a London accumulation as well. Although it does look like Asia did expand a bit, it pretty much stayed in this range. London, pretty much did the same thing. So what I saw here coming into market open was, okay, it was basically just an accumulation. London came out, it took out the Asia low, and right here we had a previous day low as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just mark that up, PDL. If I could find it, PDL, PDL, PDL. Okay, so we had our PDL right here, and right here we had the PDL as well. So boom, we had PDL on both of the days, right? So coming to market open, I saw that we had previous daily low, that ES over here on this side ended up sweeping. So ES swept out previous day's low, and it swept out all this time-based liquidity as well as the pre-market lows. So we ended up sweeping out all these lows into, it's very small, but it's still there, into this hourly fair value gap. So from here, you'll go ahead and see right now once I play the market forward, but I'm going to scale out to the other time frame. So we end up coming down, we sweep, and I forgot if we actually ended up taking that out first, but let me double check that. Let me fact check that for y'all real quick. So 9:30. Yeah, so we actually ended up taking out the Asia high first, and then we ended up kind of going to a bit of consolidation, and you'll see right now we end up manipulating lower right now, and we also had this 15-minute gap right here at a discount that lined up with that hourly gap. So pretty much, let me go ahead and extend this. So from here is pretty much where I kind of like was like, okay, I really can't establish a bias here. It's just best to just wait to see what the market wants to do, and then from there, once you start seeing displacement, then from there, that's where I would get my proper bias. So I didn't really take anything off rip. I was waiting for the clear displacement to see where the clear draw on liquidity was gonna be. So right here, now we're officially at market open. So as you go ahead and see here, if we go ahead and replay the bars, market dumps, right? So the market dumps, ES takes out that previous day low under the opening prices. And as you'll see right here, NASDAQ never takes out this previous day low. So what do we have with that? We have an SMT. So with that, we have some smut here going on as, ES again took that out, but NASDAQ failed to do so. And for my recent backtesting that I've been doing, I've noticed that it's better to take the trade on the asset that fails to take out the low rather than the asset that does take out the low. So from here, I'm pretty much just going to go ahead and replay it again. We resweep that again. And was there another SMT? No. So there was no other SMT. We had another 1 minute intracandle SMT as well, as a matter of fact. So we had these double SMTs right here, the 1 minute. So we had external and internal SMT on the 1 minute, and then also the higher time frames. So right here, once we came down, we swept that, we closed back into the range, we displaced up, inverting the first presented fair value gap of the morning on the 1 minute, which is right here. Go ahead and put down the chart. So we have the hourly we came into, the 15, and then also we flipped the PFVG of 930 for today. So from there, sweep of liquidity, last set of down close counts for a sweep of liquidity. So right here would have been the change in state. But I was more so anticipating this one. So this one was the initial run on liquidity for like the actual higher time frame liquidity. So right here, wanted to see the close above here for CISD, and then also since it created the PFEG, it would just be a further confirmation for me. So as you can see, unfortunately, if we were to have gotten a CISD like that, what was my stop was originally there from what I remember. That was the initial trade that I wanted to take off of this CISD because, this was the initial sweep of liquidity right here where we swept that out. However, though, as you can see here, 766, 797. It's a 30-point difference, killing our risk reward by basically a whole entire 1R. And I honestly just don't like to take 101s. So I pretty much had to, watch the market, run off without me as we never even came back in to fill in any of the 1 minute gaps. So you'll go ahead and see that right now. So we end up taking that out. We displaced through it, and now comes 10 a.m. So where's 10 a.m.? 3 minutes. Okay, so now comes 10 a.m. Right? So if we go back out onto the higher time frames, give me a second. Let me go ahead and put on the NWOG indicator as well, just so I can show you guys something. NWOG. Here we go. So you'll see we also have the NWOG above us too, right? So we also have the NWOG above us. Failed to reach the 50% point of this. So, this still needs to be filled in here on NASDAQ at least. Because you see it gets filled in here on ES, but not on NASDAQ. So we still have this open. We still have this little gap open up there as well. So I was like, okay, you know what? That's a pretty solid draw on liquidity. So what do? We rebalanced the 15 into a discount. We rebalanced the hourly. We had SMT with previous day low and the session lows right here as we took out the session. My bad. We don't have SMT with the session lows. So we take out the session lows. We failed to take out previous day low, forming an SMT, and we respect the 15-minute and the 1 hour gap. And then what do we also do? We create the first presented 15-minute fair value gap right here. So you go ahead and create that as well. Go ahead and put the middle line. And what do we also do? We also broke structure. So right here, we ended up breaking structure. First presented 15-minute important fair value gap that broke structure under the opening prices, lining up with the 830 opening price. So from here, this is where I started looking for my long opportunities. So you can see we end up retracing, and right here we respect this 1 minute gap right here that sent that price lower. So if we're bullish, we should disrespect this 1 minute gap. So let me go ahead and play this forward for you guys. Here, tinker around. Boom. Wait, no. But yeah, boom. We finally disrespect this 1 minute gap. What do we also do? We made a breaker. We have a low, high, lower low, higher high, fair value gap that lines up with that breaker. You have a unicorn breaker block. It's just also a balanced price range because it overlaps with the bearish gap that we had inverted. So what do? We displaced up 15-minute CISD, higher time frame changes in the state of delivery, and we had this nice reversal doji candle as well that was showing that we wanted to reverse back up to the upside. And then same thing if we go to the 15, sweep a sell side, last set of down close candles, change of state, lines up with the midnight opening price. So we're having those higher time frame confirmations showing that, you know, order flow is switching to bullish. So from here, just waited for a retrace into that 15-minute gap. We had that change in the state of delivery right here on that 1 minute, and we had that 1 minute inversion. So we're having all the time frames starting to align, showing that they want to move higher. We're starting to get the bullish confirmations that we want to move to the upside. So from here, you know, I could have entered here on market. You know, I could have entered on the limit on the inversion, but I actually ended up just entering on a limit here on the 1 minute fair value gap. Why? Because it also broke structure right here as well. So we got a body close above that. So right here, and then we're going back out to the higher time frame, the 15. Saw we have this very obvious high from yesterday, the 9:30 a.m. high, and right there was my full draw on liquidity. So it was a 2.3 RR trade, but you know me, I don't need every single, you know, tick of profit. I'm fine with just a 2-to-1. So that's perfect because the 2-to-1 is below the full draw on liquidity. So that's way more than enough for me. So if we go ahead and just play this, you see we get tagged into the trade. We face a bit of drawdown. We come back into that 15-minute gap, and as you can see here, we also perfectly respect the midway point of the range. So we completely just reject the 15-minute equilibrium of the range and this 1 minute gap as well. So we displace up from there, as you can see. We then get entered. We violate the 1 minute gap. We tap back into the 15 under both of the opening prices, and more specifically, we reject off the 8:30 a.m. opening price. So then start moving. We finally get some displacement here. We invert that, another balanced price range, and we start creating bullish order flow. So you can see here we just start moving straight up, not even filling in those gaps. And right here, but yeah, so right here we ended up taking out that high on both of the assets. And right here is I believe where we hit TP within like the next 2 minutes. So right here we ended up hitting full TP, and we were fully out of the trade right there, and that's where we made the $500. But I did stay on longer to see, you know, if this was going to hit the full target for the full 2.3. And let me go ahead and double check. And yep, right here at around 11:13, yeah, at 11:13, we ended up coming up and taking that full TP, which would have been a nice 2.3 RR. But again, we ended up closing right here at a 2-to-1. So that's how I caught today's market move. That's how I made $500 on an eval account. Yes, I'm still on an eval. I'm currently working on getting back to funded. But that's going to go ahead and wrap up this video. If you guys enjoyed it, if you guys are, you know, enjoying my content, if you're learning from it, make sure you leave a like, comment, you know, and most importantly, subscribe. I appreciate each and every single one of you guys that takes the time out of your days to watch my videos. It is greatly appreciated. And if unfortunately you blow account today or something, or, you know, you're close to blowing your account, Alpha Futures, code BEV, 10% off. So that's going to go ahead and wrap that up here. I hope you all have a blessed day, lovely day. You guys be safe out there. I love y'all. Bye.